So in this segment, we're going to be discussing how Sunak was really overshadowed by former Prime Minister. I have to say that actually, former Prime Minister Liz Truss, and it is embarrassing. It was embarrassing for Tory ministers. I'm pretty late to this, but I don't really care at this point. It was embarrassing for Tory ministers. They were giving speeches in rooms that were half empty. And you know, there are people on YouTube like without big politics channels who could draw an audience, a live audience bigger than that, honestly. And so, you know, from Kitty Donaldson of Bloomberg saying, while many in the Conservative Party had assumed Liz Truss simply wants to remain influential following her chaotic stint as Prime Minister, her ambitions are rather higher. She's thinking of running again to lead. In our piece, looking at, you know, they do discuss it. I don't know if she's looking to lead the Conservative Party again. I think she's happy to make money off the speech circuit, but you know, I think she's doing this to kind of boost her profile. Whether she runs to be Tory Party leader again, I don't know, because they're going to be in opposition for, if Labour win, potentially 5 years, at least 5 years if Labour win, up to 10. And you know, after that first election cycle of the Tories losing again, if they lose, post a Labour election, post a Labour win, I know it's going to get very confusing here, but if the Tories lose in, say, a 2027 general election, or whatever year it's held, they'll get rid of her and they'll get someone else in. So her going into an election and losing, leading a Tory party in opposition, wouldn't make any sense in my opinion. So what I think she's doing, she's using this to boost her profile, to show that she's a big draw for crowds, which goes down well at the speech circuit, people willing to pay good money to hear absolute clowns speak. But we look at this video here at the queue sizes, absolutely nuts. You know, people queuing for hours, you know, and this isn't to see a clown at the circus, which, you know, Liz Truss kind of is. You know, look how long this queue is. This is to see Liz Truss. What's going on with Blood's hat? Look at this. Look at this. People queuing for hours. There's a long queue. That's like a theme park ride. Honestly, it's kind of crazy that many people went to see Liz Truss, and they did push this weird tax pledge thing that apparently a lot of them had different versions of, which says, quote, "I, Liz Truss, pledge to the taxpayers of South West Norfolk that I will not vote for or support any new taxes that increase the overall tax burden. My pledge will protect the working people, families and businesses of our United Kingdom," end quote. So, you know, she signed some weird pledge thing, which, again, like, this is a warning to Jeremy Hunt as the autumn budget kind of approaches to not increase taxes. That's what this is, and that's one of the reasons why Jeremy Hunt is desperately looking for ways to find cuts so he can decrease taxes. But Jeremy Hunt's not going to find it because they've absolutely cooked the economy. The economy is well done at this point. It's completely done. This from Emily Malice, which I found quite interesting.
They've found a way.
So she's talking here about the Labour Party. And how they've kind of, you know,
weaponise Jeremy Corbyn. And I think it's quite interesting that instead of him being, if you like, an embarrassment to Keir Starmer's Labour Party, the worst, you know, election result defeat since 1935, they've now turned it round and said, we have changed the Labour Party, let us change the country. And every time the Conservatives mention Corbyn or say you should be scared, you should be really nervous about Labour, they turn round and say, actually, your party is still in hock to Liz Truss. Don't lecture us about kicking people out of the party when you've still got Liz Truss dominating your own conference.
You know, I guess the real differences are, you know, what Jeremy Corbyn was accused of doing was, you know, allowing anti-Semitism to spread rampantly among the, you know, within the Labour Party, and you know, he did lead Labour into a massive electoral defeat. What Liz Truss is accused of doing is crashing the economy. Arguably one's worse, and it's not crashing the economy. It's the worst one, if you want to argue the merits of kind of what's the allegations, I guess. But you know, point being is, like, it's a bit of a weird argument, given that Starmer was there in the shadow cabinet. But if it lands, then, you know, whatever, I guess. And Labour can point to the fact that they have changed leadership and they've got a new kind of top team in, whereas this Tory cabinet are largely, I think, the same as the one Liz Truss had. It's not really a big change. I mean, Jeremy Hunt's still Chancellor. What's her name? Suella Braverman is still Home Secretary. You know, what's really changed here? With the Tory party, not much. That's something Labour can push with. You know, that this is the same. These are almost the same clowns who were there when the economy completely tanked. So, if Labour can flip this, it'd be interesting. Labour aren't really the best at kind of debates and in kind of hostile questioning, not even hostile, kind of mid-tier questioning at best. They kind of struggle and crumble a bit, and we'll be discussing that in a different video regarding Labour and their plans to kind of get rid of the NHS backlog. But yeah, this it does show you, the kind of point of this video is it does show you that what the Tory members want and what the kind of donors that are still within the Tory party want is Liz Truss. Is they still believe in Liz Truss's kind of low tax, low regulation message, which makes sense given that that's what the Tories generally push. The only problem is Liz Truss pushed it in the most ridiculous way possible, which is we're going to borrow money to do tax cuts. I don't think David Cameron didn't do that. David Cameron, as far as I remember, he sold off a lot of national assets like Royal Mail, but he also did massive benefit cuts, cuts to social services, cuts to public sector, etc., in order to fund, I think, these tax cuts that he did. Liz Truss didn't do that. She was like, "Nah, we just borrow the money, bro. The economy will grow and it'll be good." And the markets are like, "What? Nah, it don't work like that." And they lost complete confidence within kind of UK bonds, especially at a time when American bonds were doing much better because of the higher interest rates over there, as well as the fact that it's American bonds. Like, American bonds are pretty much S tier. So, the American government's never going to default. But I think there was a fear of the UK economy kind of completely collapsing, and we were bailed out to an extent by other countries and entities. But it was a complete nightmare. And the fact that the Tory members and the Tory party still kind of want Liz Truss back in charge is absolutely terrifying, to be honest. Because as much as they'll be in opposition, they will be trying to force the Overton window to the right. And we know how the media works in this country. They'll keep asking stupid questions, and Labour MPs will probably fall for it because they're not the brightest. Let's be honest now. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And can you believe this many people came to see one of the clowns at the circus? Cannot believe it. And I'll catch you in the next one.